Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Death of the Silver Surfer, issue number 3. Eh. Eh. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying to like this comic book. Listen, I am going to give you a personal example out of my history that I don't think I've ever shared with you guys before. I may have back in the day, but I don't think I have. Very interesting moment where I was actually an illegal alien. That's going to be important considering what this issue basically is about. It's so blatantly obvious. Let's get talking about all that good stuff. First, let's give credit and maybe blame where some deserves. So Greg Pak is the writer, Sumit Kumar is the artist, Frank D'Armata is on colors, VC's Joe Sabino on letters, and Dyke Ruan and Rachel Rosenberg doing the cover art. Bunch of variant covers out there, including a J. Scott Campbell. I love what this guy's doing, man. Silver Surfer was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. So we start off with the with the Fantastic Four showing up. Always a great way to start a comic book, right? Showing up at some alien planet with some three keen. That's Dungeons and Dragons talk for giant praying mantis people. And they're like, we're all gonna die. And they're like, yeah, we're the Fantastic Four. We're good. No, you're nothing. No, we're pretty tough for humans. We're pretty tough. No, 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 you're all going to die. Okay, are you going to kill us? What's going on here? It's a really weird miscommunication thing going on. Um, they're saying not even the Silver Surfer can handle this because the blood of Galactus is gone. At some point, they tried to fight back against the Devourer of Worlds coming to eat their planet, and they caused a single drop of blood to fall. And this drop of blood killed almost everybody. It was really bad. So, okay, cool. Galactus still bleeds. I can see Superman there now. Do you bleed? And yeah, that's funny. I'd say that's pretty darn funny. What do you call it? We go to the Silver Surfer who's been captured by that Kelly Ko chick. Captured by a fish, a Japanese fish. Very interesting story. He's using I like that he's using his psychic powers, his telepathy, right? Silver Surfer can essentially do anything that he wants to, practically, right? Because he's just that freaking powerful, and he's using telepathy. He rarely has to, but he does here. And he's like, oh, I know, it's different. And I know these things about, your mom and da da da, because her mom, Kelly Ko's mom is like, no, stop trying to deport illegal aliens. We were illegal aliens at one point. Don't be a butt. And blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so she's ignoring him. She's asking what all this stuff is going to be for. It's going to be to get rid of all the aliens on the planet. Yeah, pretty freaking obvious what this story is about. Gee, do you think you could be a little more obvious about it? Why don't you just call it, Silver Surfer dies trying to help other fellow illegal aliens cross the border because there shouldn't be borders and everybody should be legal. Like, come on, man. Keep your damn politics out of comic books, all right? Like, at this point, I feel like I'm just hate reading. And, Pat can make fun of me as much as he wants for it. It's cool. I'm still going to tell you the truth about his comic book. It's kind of booty. The art's great. I love what everybody's doing in here, but the story is just so on the nose and so obviously about a particular political point of view. If you like this particular point of view, awesome. Awesome. Here's an echo chamber for you. But it's a comic book that's going to bring the real world into it, and at some point he's going to say something that you don't like, and then you're going to be upset about it, and I can't blame you for that. I think that this story could be a lot better by just calming down with the damn politics, trying to disguise it a lot more, stop trying to make it about illegal aliens and da 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 da, and just make it more personal. Why can't Kelly Ko have just believed that Silver Surfer caused the death of somebody, and that's the reason why, they're trying to do what they're trying to do, and yeah, like this isn't particularly difficult, as opposed to making it about fear and xenophobia, right? Um. Anyway, you know what? What's the opposite of xenophobia? I saw this before. Opposite of xenophobia. Google search says it is xenophilia, the love for or attraction to or appreciation of foreign people, manners, customs, or cultures. It is the antonym of xenophobia. Yeah. So so I know about that. I just couldn't remember what it was called. When a society gets to a great point in life where they actually have a chance to do good for other people, or they're right around nearing that time, people start to get a little apathetic towards their own culture. A culture, mind you, which has been beneficial to them more than pretty much any other on the planet. Oh, they've still got their own issues, but yeah. And you wind up feeling this feeling that other cultures are better than ours. Well, how come their cultures didn't get to the level that our culture got to, right? Is our culture really so bad? I've lived all over the world. Brother, I can have a conversation with you about other people's cultures. So seriously, this is one of those things where you have to stop for a second and think there's a better way to handle things. And just opening doors is not the way to do it. Rather, finding legal means to do things. Look, I was an illegal alien for all of about, I think, 12 days or something like that. I was in the Middle East, and I was supposed to travel over to another Middle Eastern country every 2 months, I think it was, every 3 months it was, and just basically, like, it's a thing that in other countries like America and Canada we call flagpoling. You just pop into the other country, get the signature that the stamp that you were in this other country, and then you come back in. And we're supposed to do that every 3 months, right? And then the next 3 months, you actually have to leave the country and get checked out of the country, and then you're welcome to come back to the country again. But paperwork has to be done to get you back into the country again, as opposed to just doing the flagpoling thing. Well, I didn't know about this. According to the law, it's not my responsibility to handle this. It's the responsibility of my host, right? The guy who went out and got the paperwork for me for my visa, because I'm out there doing a bunch of consultation work. I'm not supposed to get an actual salary for what I'm doing, but I can get a stipend, which is just another way of saying I got paid really good money for this. But they didn't want to do the paperwork of getting me what's called an iqama in the Middle East, which means your permanent residency. I've had that also. I've been a permanent resident of basically it's Saudi Arabia, right? And we're supposed to pop over to, when we're in Dammam, we're able to pop over into Bahrain really quick and flagpole and come back. Some people, like Americans and others, British, whatever, they make a whole weekend of it, and they go out there and they get drunk in Bahrain because alcohol is legal out there. It's starting to become legal in Saudi also, but it wasn't when I was there. It would actually get you thrown into a prison, just like being illegal. Now, look, I was sitting there waiting for this this van that was going to take me and this one other guy, a friend of mine I made while I was over there, another American from North Carolina, really good guy. He was a gay guy. He had to keep that quiet because if you come out as gay over there, you wind up getting bad things happening to you. Today, slightly different in Saudi Arabia, but at the time, you could actually be killed for that. So he had to keep that under wraps. Yeah, our culture is really so bad. So he and I were good friends, and of course I'm not going to tell anybody. And yeah, that. Uh, Anyway, so we're getting ready to go, and I'm looking at my visa, and I'm just like, hold on a second. This says that this thing expired 12 days ago. I was thinking, just shut up. They know what they're doing, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not the type to let other people's, control my life or, let other people be responsible for my life. I'm not going to do that. It's a good thing I said something because they're like, yeah, if you go over there, you're not going to be allowed back into the country. You're going to be stuck in Bahrain for a while. I wasn't going to go to jail. I wasn't nothing like that was going to happen. The company that did all that stuff would wind up probably being disbanded. And maybe the person in charge would wind up getting fined heavily and most likely fired. But that has nothing to do with me. That doesn't affect me if I'm stuck in Bahrain. You know what I'm saying? And then I've got to pay for my own ticket to get back home. That's going to be a real big deal. they would probably pay for my ticket to get back home, but yeah, pretty rough, and I speak Arabic. My Arabic used to be a lot better than it is now, but that dialect over there is not the same as the Hijazi dialect from the West Coast, from Jeddah and all that. So really rough situation for me. Anyway, that I would have been stuck. I would have been in a lot of trouble. Well, I would have been in a lot of, inconvenience, I would say. Yeah, I wasn't going to let other people be responsible for me. I was going to be responsible for myself. So I realized this was the case. I went up and I told them, they said, okay, shoot, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. We have to try and figure this out. Can I have your passport? I'm like, whoa, bro, you don't get to just have my passport. That's not the way it works here, because in Saudi, they like to take your passport and basically make you like a slave over there. I don't know if that's the way it still is, but that's the way that locally they treated people, right? I'm sure they do. They still have that mentality there. I have your passport. I'm in control of your life right now. They've tried to do that to me before. It wasn't a good ending for them. I'm not saying I beat people up, but no, that did not happen. So they're like, hey, just let us get your passport. I'm like, there's going to be a conversation. Anyway, we wound up fixing the thing, and I wound up getting a post-dated stamp on my thing. They had to pay a big fine. It wasn't nearly as big a fine as if I was caught doing that, but it was big enough fine for it. And I wound up getting, reset for less than 30 days because it was a 6-month visa. Anyway, so there were 12 days that I was actually illegally in a country. Yeah, not a good feeling for the day that I was aware of it, right? Yeah. Sometimes mistakes will happen. Sometimes these problems would happen. And if I were caught over there, then if I were caught by a cop somehow, then I could have actually possibly been in trouble. Not in somebody else's board, not in Bahrain's borders, but within Saudi Arabia. For that, I could have possibly been in trouble. I don't know that they would have booted me from the country permanently or for 10 years like Canada will or many other European countries will, but I absolutely would have been sent back home. They would have absolutely sent me back home, be like, you don't belong here, you're illegal, go back home, we're going to have a different conversation about this. I might have actually been banned from the country for a number of years. That's just what winds up happening. And that was my own fault for not paying closer attention to it and trusting somebody else to handle my business. It is what it is. Guys, we have to learn how to take more personal responsibility in our lives. As we get older, we have to understand this. This is what's really important. So this whole thing with this book, it's basically Greg Pak saying, no, we're bad. Everybody else good. No one is illegal. No, that's not true. That's not true. I was. And I would have gotten in a lot of trouble because guess what? That's how it works all around every single country in the world. There is no country. There are exactly 0 countries in the world that have open borders. It doesn't happen. We should not be the only exception. Nobody should be the only exception. So something to think about. Still not a fan of the silly story this guy is telling. Oh, by the way, Kelly Coe should not be able to take out every single member of the Fantastic Four without any kind of a problem. That's just kind of silly to me. But hey, I can't wait until she's a hero and she handles all the problems that even Thor couldn't handle. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Yeah, I'm going to go and try and read a different book that I might like better. Talk to you later. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.